to probably, hopefully not want to bite everyone like Switch did, but also have another unique problem that we may not know how to solve. And so I'm glad you mentioned the belly band, because it's important, I think, to remember that there are ways to do it that you've never heard of or maybe never thought of. And that's what we committed ourselves to, was with Benji, whatever problems he had, and he's like when people said, what kind of a dog did you guys adopt? I always tell them, well, he's a Tasmanian devil. We took him from the dog pound. He climbs into our truck, and he proceeds to, in a whirlwind fashion, go all around the truck while I'm driving. Just he's underneath my feet. He's chewing on the wires. He's jumps over my head. He's in the back. He's digging into God knows what. I hear crunching sounds. We brought him home immediately to try to potty train him. We took him outside so he could pee and poop. We brought him into the house. He walked right straight to the living room floor and pooped on the floor.
Claiming the house. It's all mine.
So we dealt with that, and then we went to bed, and he would jump into my bed, run over, bite me, jump out of the bed, run through the house. He'd find my son, bite him. We're in bed trying to sleep, and this dog is jumping on our bed and pouncing on us and biting us. And then he would run somewhere around the house, and you'd hear crunching sounds. He found something. He's chewing it apart. It could be the remote control for the cable box. And so we had to immediately get really creative with how to handle him and how to, in my case, for a period of time, I had to tie him to my belt so that wherever I go, he's there. Because if I so much as take my eyes off him, he's either chewing something in the house or peeing or pooping in the house. Like, that's literally how he's wired. And so we had to, and my little one, my son and I worked on this, how to figure out how to keep him out of trouble, to get through a day where he hasn't chewed our shoes to pieces or pooped all over the living room floor. And we worked together. And in the process, what we gained was just an amazing, magical personality. He's just such a wonderful temperament. And unlike Switch, he doesn't want to bite everyone he meets. He wants to love everyone he meets. As soon as if he saw you, Dr. Judy, he would. When we took him to the vet for the first time, he ran up to the doctor and put his paws on their waist and just stood there and stared at them like a little child. It was so cute. And that's what we got in return for all of that effort, was this amazing personality of just this overwhelming love and joy and just a happy little character.
Well, that's great. And that's I love your training method. I'll just tie the dog to me, and so he can't be out of my sight and he can't get out of trouble. I probably should have done that with my kids at times. But it kind of bonds the dog to you, because the dog's like, well, I'm just going wherever he is, and I'm going to stick by his side. But it's a great way to keep the dog out of trouble without having. I'm all for crate training as needed, but I'm not for locking your dog in a crate all day just to keep them out of your hair. So I love your tactic.
Right.
So is he learning? I mean, this is great. Obviously, whoever had him before spent zero time training him, and because he has all this energy, he's going to need a job. You're going to have to find ways to wear him out. So either you got to take up running with the dog, or you're going to have to, get into agility or something where this dog can use that energy.
Well, fortunately, my son Wyatt has a very good temperament too. So when he and I talk about this stuff, he always takes it in. And he has just endless patience to work with Benji.
Awesome.
He took wonderful, wonderful care of Switch. It was something that we did together as a family. And now that we have Benji, we do it together. And my son is very, very good about spending time with him. He's so good at training Benji. When we were at the vet's office, one of Benji's issues is he would bark like a machine gun. Unending. He was a sweet dog, but if he saw another dog, he would just go ballistic. But I mean, it was a cacophony of noise without end. He wouldn't stop. You couldn't yelling at him didn't work, pulling on the leash didn't work. Nothing shut him off. And so what my son and I did was, to deal with that, we took soda cans. So my little one and I are drinking soda, which we don't normally drink. So we're drinking fistfuls of soda and emptying out these cans, and we put pennies in them. And what we figured out was to shake that can was a rattling, loud noise that scares, it startles Benji. So if he's barking, rah, 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 going nuts because there's another dog in the room, shaking that can next to his head, whoop, he just stops and like his eyeballs spin for a second because he's so startled. And he looks up and he looks at Wyatt and he looks at me, and all of a sudden he stops barking and he calms down.
It's a great distraction.
And every time that we tell him to be quiet and we shake the can, he gets in the habit of just being quiet and stopping what he's doing when we say that to him. And so now, within a day, we walked into the vet, which is full of dogs. And within a day, and the vet techs were watching this happen, he, in one visit, he got to a point where he would bark once, we would tell him to be quiet, and he would sit down and look at us and stop barking.
Awesome.
And so Benji, it turns out, is very, very trainable, but we just had to figure out what was the tool to use to get him to behave in a way that we could all get along.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's pretty cool. So we have this product, it's called a pet corrector, and it basically makes a noise when you spray it. It just makes this loud hiss. And so we use that in our house. It works really well for my mom's schnauzer, who barks at everything that moves outside. And so, after she heard the noise the first few times, now you just pick up the can, she sees the can, she's like, okay, never mind. So, it's a great, non-physical way to correct your dog. And it's basically just redirecting their attention, and then, hopefully they get to the point where they see you pick up the can, or you have that verbal clue, or with our dogs, most of them are deaf now, so I give them the look. they know if they're in trouble, they get the look from the mom.
Well, God bless you for taking such good care of your dogs, and I love for people to hear those stories, not, what's it like to have a dog that runs and plays with the kids, with music playing in the background. It's what's it like to live with a dog who is a nightmare, and how you can find a way to solve that so that the dog can coexist with the rest of the family and behave itself. And like you said, not by sticking the dog in a cage, but by making the dog and helping the dog to learn how to behave outside of the cage or outside of the house in a way that everyone can handle.
Yep. Yeah, and I would venture, you've only had this dog 3 weeks and already made great strides. I would venture that in a few months, this dog is going to be just as loyal and, stick by your side, and it's going to be perfect. So does the dog still run around the house at night trying to get you guys up to play, or does he let you sleep now?
No, not at all. He actually is very trainable. You just have to take the time to work with him. And so we did that. And at first we had to keep him, when we would go to bed at night, he would jump in the bed. We'd have to chain him to us. We'd have to leash him and hold him down. We found that once you did that, he would calm down and go to sleep. He'll sleep for hours. He's just this cute little lap dog. If you can get him to stop moving like crazy. and so on his own, within a week, he just calmed down, and he just got in the habit of being calm when he was around us. Because at first we had to restrain him and hold him still, but then he just started to learn by habit that that's what he would do. Is when we're in the house, he would just go and lay by our side. Or if we're going to bed, he would just curl up on the bed, or he likes to go under the blankets, he would just curl under the blankets and sleep. And he sleeps all night now. And so,
that's so
it was
perfect.
a nuisance.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a nuisance and an inconvenience at first. And I think it's very easy to give up on that. Say, oh, this stupid dog just chewed everything up and peed on the bed, or whatever the bad news was that day, and say, I'm not going to live like this. Or you could say, okay, well, that happened, and how do we try to work? how do we work with this dog so that we keep this member of our family as a member of our family? And that's important to me because I have flaws too. And
sure,
I'm glad
we all do.
that no one throws me away.
My new son-in-law gave me a coffee cup at their wedding that says, "Thank you for not putting my wife up for adoption. I know it wasn't easy." And I think we all need to have that attitude with our pets. David, this has been wonderful. We are out of time. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for the work that you're doing. The website is davidalanarnold.com. DAVIDALAN Arnold.com. The books are How I Went from Sweeping the Floor to Painting the Sky and What Lies Above the Clouds. You can find them on Amazon. Highly recommend them. Until next week, this has been Dr. Judy on Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets.
That's all for today. Find more answers to your questions next time on Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets every Monday and Tuesday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time by going to DreamVision7Radio.com. Join holistic veterinarian Dr. Judy to discover healthy options for raising your pets in a more holistic manner. Visit drjudymorgan.com to learn more.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.